Hello, welcome pen friends. I'm back with the number 2 profile in Ink Flight 27. So we're dealing with a set of 7 secret inks that you don't get the answer to what they are until you take their little quiz and then it's revealed. But they're also going to reveal to the public the names of the inks on April 26, 2019. So we're about a week ahead of that right now. So we're still looking at them with open eyes, or open mind, and kind of exploring them. And later I'll come in and put in the tag as to what the ink company and name is. But it's a beautiful purple today. It's really, really pretty, and it looks a lot like one we just did last month, Kaweco Purple. So that was an interesting discovery. So hopefully you'll join me for kind of looking at this more closely, and we'll put it right in the bath test like we usually do and see what happens. It's a little funny doing it this way, but hopefully it'll be fun for you guys too. And some of you have already taken the quiz and figured out what it really is. So we're just honoring Ink Journal's request to keep it quiet till the 26th. Okay, so there's that. Now, quick report on Mystery or Secret Ink number 1, which was this gorgeous blue. It did the bath test. This is the result. And it's a very typical fountain pen ink that cleaned up, and it pretty much disappeared. Not completely, but almost. And I give it an A on the clean out scale. Let's see, where's our notebook? Which means it was quick and easy. It was quick and easy, no problems whatsoever to clean that out of all 3 pens, and I had no problem. So, okay, so we'll let that keep working, and we'll get right in the Rhodia Gold book. Wow, this thing is getting thick. I've been at it for quite a while here in this one, and it's filling up. So here we go. Here's the 2 in Mystery Ink 1 and 2, and this beautiful purple. And we'll go to its page here. It feels so weird not having the where you can buy it, and the name of the ink up here will be, and then where you can buy it and the prices. It seems funny, and you'd think it'd be quicker getting these out, but it's been such a busy week so far. So I'm delighted to be able to be here with you today. Here it is in the broad nib. And it's just yummy because I love purple. And it's a gorgeous shade of purple, and it likes to do some shading. And it's just real, pleasing to the eye. It's not actually what I would call a crayon purple in a way. It's got some complexity, just enough to make it interesting. And then, okay, so there it is in the fine nib, which is plenty saturated, and it did really well in the fine nib. And here's the chromatography for you. I thought that was neat. So it's got red and purple. See, that's what I call closer to traditional crayon purple you'd get in kindergarten or whatever. And you see how that is? It's purple all right, but it's well, I guess it's the red that makes it look so different and so nice, so like royal or interesting, So there we have it. Let's get into the other notebooks. Got 4 of them. Got the Leuchtturm little Leuchtturm 1917 dot grid one. And here it is. Okay, it kind of flattened on here when you paint it in, but I don't know about you, but I probably wouldn't be painting in my Leuchtturm bullet journal, more or less. Unless I do a background wash, which I would make sure it was really watered down so that I didn't, kill the page. But here it is in the broad nib and in the Lamy fine nib. I just thought it looked really nice, and I wouldn't say there's a lot of shading, but I do notice some variation when I'm writing, and I like that, where it's darker and lighter, but I wouldn't actually call it the kind of shading like that I would get from, say, Diamine Aqua Lagoon or anything like that. It did bleed through just slightly on the painted on part, but that's really good. Oh, it gets a little smiley. That means I'll like it in my bullet journal. So there's that one. And then on to CVS Caliber Memo Book. I keep meaning to drop in there and get another one because I ended up, purposing this for reviews, and that took it out of my, I had already started using it for like weird notes and stuff in my purse. But okay, so gold sheen appeared on this paper, but it's hard to capture, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to because it's subtle. There we go, right there. there, and there. You could see it. It just was a delightful little surprise. So it goes down to here in the broad nib, and then in the fine nib. And it was really good on this paper. There's been a kind of a run of that. There's been some inks that I felt like were flowy enough and saturated enough. Those are the two qualities the inks need to do well on CVS caliber paper. And if, you know, you'll know right away if an ink doesn't do well on it, because you will just hate writing on this paper. If it's too dry or doesn't flow well or isn't saturated, you won't like it. But this has all of those things, those positive attributes. So here's a little Nemesine notebook, and it's about gone. I think we've got maybe a handful of reviews left we can do in it. And I did show some really nice color in here. I'm kind of heading it toward the window because you're going to get a little bit better representation of what it looks like. But you can see how it's shaded and highlighted here. There might have been a little gold sheen right there, but there wasn't much on this paper to speak of. But it wrote really well in the Moonman glass nib. This is sort of like a medium nib, and I thought that it stayed nice and dark, yes, but it wasn't gloppy, and it was very even from start to finish. Because I started here with one dip, you know, and kept on going and never had to re-dip, and right down to the heart there, it's all the same dip, and it didn't act like it was, you know, just falling off the glass nib. And if you've written with a glass nib, you know what I mean. And it didn't vary much. It was very nice, actually. So here is the Live Notes by Pen Gallery, 68 GSM Tomoe River paper. And it looked really pretty on here, I thought. It's like, oh boy, just like a juicy purple. And so here we go in the broad nib and in the fine nib. Let's see how it did as far as... Okay, it tried to go through a little bit, but that's heavily painted on, so... It's funny too, because I kind of like wish I had more of these. You order them overseas, and they're not expensive, but when you look at shipping and everything, it would be. So I'm thinking, well, here I am using it for this, but it is beautiful to look back on all of our inks. So it's going to be a treasure anyway. Okay, so let me pull out Tomoe River paper 52 gram white. Okay, and there's our secret ink number 2. And it looks really nice, and we did get a little gold sheen, but you can only catch it when the light is just right. But it's delightful to write with. In fact, I pulled it out and wrote a pen pal letter with it this morning. So I was a little worried. I thought, oh no, I'll probably use a whole 2 mil sample, and then I'll be crying because, you know, I don't have any more. But that hasn't happened yet. And I'll probably empty my Lamy Vista out back into the vial and keep using it with the broad nib, because I really like it in the broad nib better. But I can say that about a lot of inks. So okay, and not much of any real bleed through, just a little tiny bit, but it's not really, to me it's more like shadowing. We usually compare how they do on the two Tomoe Rivers, even though they're, you know, this is cream and this is white, and my you know, it's similar, but it does look darker on the cream one, and it looks darker to my eye and on the camera. You're not just seeing that, just you. So it makes a difference, the color, and I am going to try to standardize as soon as I have my trip under my belt, and I'm not, you know, not as concerned about costs. I'll try to standardize to white so that we can see everything better. Okay, here's Clairefontaine 90 gram French ruled paper. Now, you know, as Tomoe River, there's nothing like it for showing off the ink, but there it is, painted on anyway, and it certainly looked nice in the writing, in the broad nib and the fine nib, and I see quite a bit more shading on this, and that makes sense that we would, I think, even in the fine nib, I see more shading on Clairefontaine, and of course no bleed through whatsoever. Okay, 2 more, let's see, yeah, 2 more. Rhodia 80 gram dot pad. Same thing here, it doesn't have that spectacular shading and stuff in the painted on sample. Oh, I forgot to write with a fine nib. Let me see, where did I put that? Oh no. Well, here it is. Okay, so we can correct our spilled milk here. I do want to see it, so. Okay, pardon me while I write this in. A quick brown box. I'm seeing a little shading on here too. Jumps over. The lazy dog. I don't know how I forgot that, but I did. Okay, let's get a couple of... I like these because they the little hashtags sometimes show more either shading or variety. Okay, so there we have it. Sorry about that. It needs to dry, but it's there at least. And I just really like the color. It happens to really speak to me, that brand of purple. That shade of purple, I should say. Okay, here is the Georgia Pacific 20-pound copy paper. Pretty cheap stuff, but it helps some viewers who are, I guess, working in offices, and they want to see how an ink does on it. Now, I do see some feathering and, you know, what you might call spreading or feathering. I guess that's the same thing, really, where it just... Yeah, this is absorbent paper, and it makes the lines look wider. Let's see. Okay, well, it's not really fair to compare to Clairefontaine, and yet it's not horrible. It's just, you can feel it. It doesn't glide over the paper, certainly. It doesn't drag either, though. Let's see how it did for bleed through. Okay, there's really just a little tiny bit here and there where it tries to, and then where I painted it on. So there really wasn't much, though. You could get away with using the other side. So that's not bad at all. Okay, so let's stop in on this, and then we'll look at our comparison panel. Okay, so it's staying a little bit better than the other one did, but time will tell. It has to stay in here about 10 more minutes or so. So we'll just leave that alone and get our panel. Just here. Now we've got a little bit of a Frankenstein panel today because I pulled out all the inks that I wanted to put on a panel, and they were pretty much the same as I already had on this one. This was originally the Kaweco Summer Purple panel, but Kaweco Summer Purple is under our mystery number 2 here, and then I just clipped it on over. Let's see what I put it over, because it was Monteverde Rose Noir, which is certainly similar, you know, has some similarities, but I really felt like it was okay to cover that one up. So that's what I did for today, since I'm running on a kind of a strange schedule this week, and I really wanted to do this one. So here we are. You know, I found that it was very similar to Summer Purple, and yet there are differences. You know, there's this appears a little darker, and then it has a different kind of complexity in it, where you see kind of a, I don't know, a different color appearing. You see how the magenta comes out, but over here it's leading toward either blue or lavender coming out. I thought that was interesting. And then there's Annie's mix, and we have the recipe for that one here. If anybody wants that, I have it. I may be able to just type it into the description box. I'll see if I can find that. I have it in the back of my ink journal. And then, you know, well, this one is darker, but it very much reminds me. It just seems like it's just dialing up the intensity of the same sort of shade. Like, this is the Diamine Purple Dream 150th anniversary. That's a gorgeous ink too. Now I have one more. Let's see. This is lighter, so to me this represents okay, like if this is going darker, this is going lighter, of that same really complex. And this is Robert Oster Viola, a gorgeous little light dusty purple ink, but you can see it's quite a bit lighter than Mystery Ink number 2 or Secret Ink number 2. So but you know, I thought, well, this was the only one that wasn't on this panel already. So I just decided to go ahead and do this one. KWZ Standard Berry, that's worth mentioning. That's really kind of close. It may be a little darker, and certainly it's got, what comes out is darker. So I would imagine that there's a difference, definitely a difference. But wow, all of these, I just love all of these inks that are out here. And it's interesting because when I first got this down onto the paper and started looking at it, I thought maybe it would be too light for me. But as you can see, it looks great in a nib. I mean, it is not something that lightens up so much that you can't see it. No, it's very good. I haven't had a lot of experience with this one yet, with Robert Oster Viola, so I don't know how that will compare. Let me put that there just for now, just to see. So that's how it went. Really, really fun. Now, let's see what it looked like on the visual journal. It's actually pretty complex, but it reacted to the water kind of like it is here. It sort of fuzzes everything out, but you can see how you get some pink coming out and some lavender and blue coming out, and it's quite pretty, really. If I got it just right, maybe with the water, where it wasn't too watery, but it has to be enough water, otherwise it doesn't work at all. This is the Nick Stewart landscape technique. And here it is on the other side, where I just put the water down first and only put ink. This is a little different how you do it, but I thought that was really pretty. I mean, it brings out just about everything. There's a little bit of sheen there, but you can't really see it too well. So that's how that came out. Always fun to do this. Okay, so what's next? What's next? What's next is a lot of activities for Good Friday and Easter. But then, in there somewhere, which is going to be Secret Ink or Mystery Ink number 3, which is a really bold, kind of a deep red. And, it's a little hard to show, but we'll get there when we do the other profile. We'll have different papers to view it on, and it's gorgeous. So we're moving along. It's a little slow, and I apologize for that, but I want to kind of, well, I'm not sure that I'll get all 7 of them done by next Friday. It's unlikely, but that's okay, because once next Friday hits, April 26, 2019, then we'll be able to talk about the names of these, and that will give us a lot more to talk about where you can get it and the availability of each one, and it'll be fun. So I trust me, I think we'll still have fun. Okay, now I wanted to say a big thank you. I got some mail today from a pen friend. I got 6 more ink samples in. And I don't have any of these. And my pen friend, here's her initials. Thank you so much, until you're better thanked, in the mail or on the phone. And then, she sent some, to kind of fill up, she sent some leftover yarn that she had. And I'm making these little bags, which I'll show you. And I'm just delighted, because when she said little small, remnant, I was thinking smaller than this, because I think I can make 2 out of this one and 1 out of each of these, at least, maybe even 2 out of the blue. But let me show you. I'm still really enjoying making these little pouches, and I've got 2 ready. I don't think the people I'm giving them to are going to be watching. This is the little purple one. I decided to just do a hand pull rather than a necklace kind of thing on this one, because I know the person. And this gray one came out good with a silver cord too. And then I tried it with the larger gauge yarn that's like I think it's peaches and cream or something, but it's cotton, but it's larger, and the exact same pattern makes it kind of jumbo, but this person really likes orange. And then I tried it with another yarn, and it made it mini, even smaller than these. So, and that's orange too. But anyway, so you can tell I'm being naughty. I'm kind of like, this is pulling me away from my ink desk a little, of my work that I love with the inks, because I'm crocheting a lot, and I have to tell myself to leave it alone sometimes, because there's so many other things to work on too. And okay, so I'll be back with Secret Ink number 3, and I hope you're enjoying this. Let me know what you thought of purple number 2 up here. Wow, that's pretty. Even on the watercolor paper, just sitting there, you can tell there's some complexity coming out. And I super love this, and I'm hoping that when I get pen allowance, I'll be able to order some, that it's not all gone or whatever. So anyway, I'll talk to you later. Thank you very much for joining me. Bye for now.